A new wall has been unlocked. We got HIVEMIND Unlimited. Look, bro. I meant to check this out a while ago, but I just didn't. But it's time now, okay? Haven't checked out one of these since the first episode because, you know, I like the format, but I feel like a lot of these movies I need to actually watch to understand what's going on and to fully contribute to the conversation. Except this time around, I can because I watched both of these movies in my Discord a couple months ago. I didn't rewatch them again recently because I have a pretty good movie memory, and that one I literally just saw a couple months ago. So, you know, whatever. I may not be able to pull out a favorite line off top, but I can pull out some stuff. All right. These movies I watched as a kid as well, very young. I found out recently that they are the reason why I like blondes. Uma Thurman definitely kind of shaped my taste, my type, if you will, even though I don't have one. But if I did, it'd be blondes that know how to use swords. Look, bro, we're talking about Kill Bill if you haven't noticed already. Very excited. We're seeing how it aged with Burke. I'm excited, bro. Very, very excited, bro. I should have known he was going to do the thing.
Welcome back to HIVEMIND Unlimited. And welcome to How Did It Age LA Edition.
Woo! LA Edition.
Green Wall. We're in Los
Crazy.
Angeles, California, and we're joined by Burke.
Burke.
This is our movie segment where we watch old movies and see how they've aged with modern
Old?
context.
2003 is old? I was born in 04, but like 2003 is old. Retro at best. Retro at best. Come on now.
Today's movie
Come on, bro.
is Kill Bill.
Mike, look at that
Volume
fit.
1 by Quentin Tarantino.
It's his fourth movie.
The guy, bro.
2003.
Correct.
Wow.
Produced by a guy named Harvey.
Oh!
Not the... Oh, no.
Oh,
Yes, it's the bad one.
No. You know what? No, I did know that because when I started watching the movie again in Discord, I was like, oh, come on, bro. But I figured I had already seen it as a kid. So, like, you know, whatever, bro. It sucks, man. But, like, you know, it's such a good movie, though.
It's exactly what you're thinking about. Not Two-Face.
not Harvey
Yikes.
Milk.
No, he was a good gay.
Yikes.
Good gay guy.
Good gay.
Shout out to good
Great
gays.
Gay guy.
Shout out to great
That's
gays.
not the movie we're here to talk about.
We're here to talk about Kill Bill, which stars Uma Thurman.
Yes, and Lucy Liu.
And there's lots of blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of it
Oh yeah. There's
coming out
lots
of
blood.
all kinds of places.
Let's get some context, Graydon.
All right, this is Quentin Tarantino's fourth movie. It made hella bucks. I think it had a $30
bad.
million budget, and it made 180 million.
Pretty good.
Pretty
That's pretty good.
decent.
It is
not
inspired
bad.
by 70s exploitation films
Yes.
and martial arts movies, obviously.
I picked
Yes.
up on that.
Yeah, if you've ever seen any of those, you could tell really just in the first scene sound effects. I think you pointed it out when she hops over the coffee table. It goes. Every little
So
motion
that's
has,
something
like, a
that I did
mad
notice too on my rewatch a couple months ago. It's like a lot of the sound effects not only kind of became bigger outside of the movie over the last way too long, 21 years, man. I turn 21 next year. Anyways, look, bro, they're amazing. When I tell you I was cackling, laughing when the Riz sound effect, I forgot that it came from these movies because I think it's in both. So when I heard it again, I thought someone in Discord was like pressing a button or something like that, and then I realized it was in the movie and started cackling, bro. Like literally, I was dying.
really just in the first scene sound effects. I think you pointed it out when she hops over the coffee table. It goes. Every little motion
Hilarious.
has like a Mac from Always Sunny karate noise.
I love that the aerodynamics on the turn of a blade.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's hokey, it's strange, and it's pretty universally beloved. It has an
It is.
85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nice.
There's an 8.2 on IMDb.
That's good.
69 on Metacritic. And
Nice.
Roger Ebert gave it a smacking 4 out of 4 and said this movie isn't really about anything other than its humor and skill in its making, and that's
Yep.
what makes it brilliant.
I think it's about true love.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's about sliding for yourself, you know, and like Yeah, and it's about the get back, bro. Sometimes you just got to get back, you know? And that's kind of the vibe. And, you know, then you got to get back. No, I mean, you should have watched the second one if you watched the first one. You got to get back for, you know, your kid, bro. And you know what I'm saying?
About
That's kind of what it's about for real.
revenge they've always deserved.
Exactly.
Like Diana the Hunter.
Go on.
Diana the Hunter, she killed a bunch of bus drivers with a bow and arrow because there was bus drivers kidnapping women in Mexico.
I didn't know that.
Indiscriminately killed bus drivers.
That's crazy. I mean, hey. Let me slide, bro. I mean, unless she was killing innocent ones, then that's crazy. But if she was killing the ones that was actually doing the kidnapping, I mean, hey, bro, that sounds like a W to me.
Not like the bus drivers who did it.
Oh.
But that's what...
Oh, so not. Okay, so yeah, I can't co-sign that, but I understand, though. I get it. I get it. It's not as justified as it could have been and as it was about to be, but I get it, though.
Revenge is, you know? It's as indiscriminate as the killing was before. Just for being a woman...
There you
Diana
go.
the Hunter killed people who were bus drivers
A bottomless
indiscriminately.
pit.
There you go. Still can't co-sign it, but I get
Their
it.
heads out too.
Oh!
Yeah, she would leave them on the sides of roads.
I wonder
Wow.
if like a bunch of bus drivers, like they heard the news, it was going around that there was, you know, a target on their heads and they went around like duct taping their heads. Or, like, some
Yo.
shit.
Helmets on.
Yeah.
This
Yo.
movie is split into
Imagine.
chapters. It's also split into two, as we
Yeah.
talked about. It was shot as one, and it was over 4.5 hours long.
I didn't know
And,
that.
Quentin Tarantino doesn't like making cuts, so he just split it into two. Volume 2 came out 6 months later, and each of these movies is like 5 or 6 chapters.
Yeah, we
of
did a
the
double
chapters-
feature, literally. Oh my god. This sequence I completely forgot about. It was one of my favorite moments rewatching because it was so good, bro.
Volume 1 is a full anime sequence, kind of
Mm-hmm.
Owen's origin story. And that anime is done by Production IG, who's a very famous anime production house. They made Ghost in the Shell in 1995.
I'm not an anime guy.
which Quentin Tarantino was not in.
No, but Scarlett Johansson was.
Yes.
Nice.
Of course. She played a Japanese robot. Controversial as it may be.
That is interesting.
Great movie. Very good movie. The original is just awesome.
Oh, it's so good. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's like taking acid. I know you've seen this movie. Riley, this was your first time, correct?
No, I saw it when I was 14 years old.
Nice.
I didn't pay that much.
I saw it when I was like 4 or 5. And I think that's why, like, I have a katana. I really, you know, this movie and Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift was kind of like my introduction to, like, just what other cultures could be like. And me realizing that, like, America's kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie to you.
attention. I was in my friend's basement.
Okay.
And
Nice.
I remember thinking it was cool,
Yes.
but I didn't remember a lot of the details of it.
And a lot of
I did. This movie stuck with me. I had only watched it. I might have watched it twice growing up, but I think I only watched it once, and I literally just like hadn't stopped thinking about it since. And I watched a lot of movies, like a lot. I used to go to Blockbuster all the time when I was younger. Like when Netflix came out and like had a streaming service, like my mom got on that. We was watching movies like all the time. You know, I'm a movie guy. I wouldn't say I'm a film bro, like a cinephile or anything yet, but I want to be. I'm trying to get there. You know, so. But this was one of those ones that like. Just there was so much about it. I will say the animated sequence I kind of forgot. I forgot about that part. But a lot of the other stuff was kind of just like ingrained in my memory, bro.
personality is made up on this film, correct?
Oh, I feel like I was born with this movie like in my bones.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
I don't remember when I saw this movie for the first time, but I've always
I was very young.
known it because
Always
it
been
came out in
a movie
2003.
guy.
The only explanation I have for the first time I saw this must have been in the hospital waiting room waiting for my brother to be born. That's the
Wow.
only time I could have seen it.
Okay.
Because that was my first memory. So everything else from there on out, I have known and I
Yeah.
remember. So that's
True.
the only explanation I have for it.
Yeah, there's going to be little criticism coming from this section.
Nice.
movie.
It's also
Yeah.
the only movie me and my mom can watch together that we agree on is a good film. Besides, it's complicated with Meryl Streep and Alan,
Haven't seen that.
That's a ripper.
which obviously everyone wants to watch that movie.
Yes, with their
I guess everyone wants to watch that movie now. Let me add it to the watch list.
I had seen it a few times, and when I was younger, I had this weird opposition to this movie because my dad really wanted to fuck Uma Thurman, like would almost vocalize it as he was watching it, or like
Never
maybe I'd
said
wake up in
that.
the middle of the night and he'd be out like in a yellow jumpsuit in the room, like kind of watching this movie, kind of doing a Kill Bill
Covered in
thing.
blood.
Yeah, covered in blood, doing like a Buffalo Bill thing.
I like
Yo.
I had weird angsty teenage feelings to it, and I was like, I don't like that movie. It's weird, it's bad. And then once I came to terms with the fact that my father has had sex and is a sexual being in his own right, then
Yikes.
I learned to love this movie.
And have you had
fair.
conversations with your dad about maybe like understanding where he comes from, like that place of arousal and sensuality and almost like a long.
It's funny, that wasn't even it for me. Definitely not as a kid, and definitely not this time around, but it made a lot of things make sense, bro. I was just like, wow. Like, wow. You know? And I just muted the video.
You get it, right? You can
Obviously,
understand.
yeah. I think he is attracted to violence or something, maybe.
Or blondes.
Or blondes,
Yeah.
yeah. He did date a blonde.
Blondes
for a
and
long
violence.
time. She was not good with a sword.
And that's what I said.
good
Like,
with
it's not just a blondes thing. It's blondes and swords. They have to be together or it's not the same.
She was kind of a bitch.
Yikes. Best line. My name's Buck. Oh, that's not the best line, but it's one of the funniest though.
I like when Uma Thurman says,
And I really only like that because he gets killed like right after.
to get even Steven.
Going on with that, in that same moment when she's talking to Vernita in the kitchen and she says to get even, she would have to kill Vernita's whole family.
Yeah.
She said, that would make us even. And then she goes, that'll make us square. She goes,
Yeah, she does the square.
so good.
Yeah, for a movie that is like so focused on the combat, I
Yeah.
think all of the dialogue is really funny.
It was.
Like when there is
That was something we
dialogue-
talked about. Honestly, I need to scroll through. Hold on. I'm going to go in my Discord because I have all the chat logs from when we watched, because we don't watch with mics on. We just use the chat so we can just listen to the movie and like watch. So I'm going to go through and find some of the stuff that we were talking about in there.
It's so
Oh my God, I meant to pause the recording. All right, so I'm looking through. We were talking about a lot of lines, but didn't quote too many. But I see one. Y'all must be from Alabama. I don't remember what part. That was in the second movie though, so like kind of. But like it's the same movie though. I guess I don't know. I'm scrolling through, but this was such a great watch. One of the few double features we've done. Yo, look, if you want to watch, which we haven't done a movie night in a minute, I'm planning on doing 10 in October. I'm trying to check out a bunch of horror movies or like horror adjacent movies. So like that should be fine. Join my Discord. We be watching stuff. We watching TV shows every week. Right now we're watching The Boys. I've just been doing one episode a week. But you know, kind of vibes. But yeah, I'm not seeing too many other ones that were like full quotes in here. So there's that. But yeah, I'm gonna say My Name's Buck just because it's so absurd and like gross and still kind of funny in that moment based off of the actor's delivery. I'm gonna say that's my favorite line.
well written and so leans into how funny this movie is. Like you don't realize how funny the movie's supposed to be
Yeah.
until like halfway through.
You're taking the idea
true.
of these like old 70s, 80s martial arts movies or just like extreme combat movies, and he's playing with that because he's executing it so well. And there are like the tropes, like there's, you know, when people fly in the air, they're like spinning 1,000 times. All the blood that comes out is like a
Also, Hilarity, you're only getting shout outs in main channel videos, so free L reaction because no Hilarity, you know, and this doesn't count at all. But yeah, so this is unlimited. You'll be fine.
fucking water fountain.
Also, this was Leamy's. Shout out to Leamy. He can get shout out anywhere. It was his first Tarantino movie. Glad I put him on.
That's like a tip
you know?
of the cap to like anime, and old martial arts did that. But he does that so well with that acknowledgement. And then there's just these lines on top to like, they're just, it's all like tongue in cheek. It's just very goofy. I love in that kitchen scene when she's done killing Vernita and the daughter's just standing there.
Yeah.
And she's cleaning her blade. She's like,
Honestly, I was thinking the other
day.
day, we don't need a sequel. We don't. And I kind of hate like delayed sequels or remakes or whatever. Not my thing, but I wouldn't be mad if we got a sequel with Maya Hawke and someone that's supposed to be playing the daughter and they kind of just go at it like a little, even if it's just a, you know, little, like a different, I don't think a different director would hit. I don't know. Again, we don't need it, but like it could be cool.
To do
Maybe.
this in front of you. And when you're older, if you're still raw about it, I'll be waiting. And then she just leaves.
Yeah, I love that in the flashback in El Paso at like the bloody wedding when the two guys are walking up and they realize it's like a bloodbath.
Yeah.
And he says to the other one, maybe someone objected and couldn't hold their peace.
Just two detectives showing up. He's like, we got 9 dead bodies, including
I really
the bride.
loved the shot of when they were driving up and all of his aviators were just on the dashboard, just like kind of stuck to it. I thought that was so weird, but kind of cool.
It's like, oh my, they're just their little back and forth there is so funny.
Yeah.
These Texas Rangers walking into a church full of dead bodies.
I think we all can agree the best line in this movie is the baseball line.
Yes, totally.
Baseball line.
That line.
You like samurai swords? I like baseball.
Just pulls one out of his pocket.
and she slices it.
I forgot
It's
about
so
that.
Good.
Love that line.
Yeah.
There's one that I like, not for the line, just for like her tone, is when she's got Buck's head on the in between the door frame and she's like slamming the door
Yep.
over his head repeatedly, and she's like, your name is Buck, right? And then she goes, and you like to fuck, right? She's just like,
You couldn't even
That whole scene is so funny.
no, I can't watch that. That was like a little too much. I don't know why that was so
Yeah.
like that. And then when she slashes his Achilles when he comes in the
that
door.
is
Oh my
Yeah.
God, this is the most brutal 2 minutes of the movie for me.
Crazy.
so cheap too. I hate to say that, but it's like he's like selling unconscious people for like $75 an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's not even like raking it in. It's just like petty cash to have sex
Literally.
with his patients.
Disgusting behavior, man.
gross.
It is.
There's one line that I hated, but I
Yes.
like came to respect. Just for like once I fully got a grasp on the tone of this movie, it like went from worst line to best line. And it's just when she says silly rabbit, tricks are for kids, and it like jumps back and forth.
Can we just break this down? Was there any reason they needed to say that?
No.
Not at
I
all.
respect
favorite
it
line.
too.
But it's like so
Not at all.
really bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I like about some. Like, I'm not a big like combat movie type of guy.
See, I
And
am.
So to me, it's better when some of these shots are so stupid. Like I like that it's just over the top and dumb and meant
Mm-hmm.
to be funny. It's like somebody said it to me like it's leans into the idea like this is a movie.
Totally.
Like, it's not supposed to be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It lets itself be a movie.
Yeah.
And that to me, I was just like, oh my God, they really just said silly rabbit, tricks are for kids in like a heated combat.
I think it comes from like two different places. I think it comes from one, Tarantino's like inspiration from all of these previous like samurai movies. Like even when she's flying to Okinawa and Tokyo and you see that plane, there's a string
Yeah.
above the plane and like
Oh,
he
yeah.
wants you to
Yep.
see it. Like it's very, he doesn't really want to explain anything too much. Like everything is just as it is. And like for some reason, this movie is so standalone in the fact that like it just works.
Yeah.
It works better than it does for any other movie to just be like completely over the top and campy.
It's
And I
unserious.
just love it.
Yeah.
Uma Thurman's character is just the bride.
In this movie,
Redacted.
You
it's
don't
just
even
the
get
bride.
her name in there.
Black
is-
Mamba.
Right.
Right. Which
It was redacted for a while. At least that's what we were saying in chat. But like, yeah.
I did a lot of research to figure out if Kobe had the nickname first or Thurman had the nickname first.
Real.
And it's like around the same time. And I
Crazy.
understand it's a snake. Like, I get
Yeah.
that it's not like,
It is.
you know, but I was like, did Kobe start calling himself Black Mamba because of this movie? You know?
Imagine.
Yeah.
She's in yellow.
Yep.
She's killing everybody.
I didn't put that together, yo. That's crazy.
Kobe was in yellow, killing everybody.
Yeah.
Not kill like physically. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
She shoots a mean 3-pointer.
She was a slasher.
Yeah.
Elite defender.
Not much of a shooter in this
Yeah.
movie.
At all.
Yeah.
There's very few guns.
I would
Yeah.
also say that this is probably Tarantino's most colorful movie. by
Yes.
far.
Oh, but yeah, the
Yes.
color grading is wide. It
It
looks
is.
like a Wes Anderson movie at the beginning.
It does.
The first chapter is like Wes Anderson-esque.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that lawn is like so green. And when she's in the hospital, it's all so like washed out in like this dark like sewage.
Yep.
Green.
Yeah.
I wrote about that in the scenes thing. I was like, every scene is treated individually
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so well that like there is no specific tone for the entire movie. It's like each chapter really has its own color palette. And I love movies that do that.
Yeah.
A fifth of it's just a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Literally. And the
directs
switch was
everything.
so smooth. It's like it didn't even, I don't know. But again, I kind of forgot that part before my rewatch. So when I saw it, I was literally so surprised if I had never seen it. And then it came back to me as I was watching through. But like, insane, bro.
Right, but there's a few movies out there. I think there's like 2 or 3 that he wrote and did not direct, and he like trusted Robert Rodriguez, who's like also a very stylistic director, to do Dusk Till Dawn, which he starred in with George Clooney. And then
Nice.
he also crazy movie. And then
Haven't
he
seen that.
also had Tony Scott do True Romance.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like, even though it's Kill Bill was 10 years later, it's like very Tony Scott, like the action, the stop motion that
Yeah.
like loses 2 frames. It's like, you
Real.
get like 1 frame a second. The color grading is like all very early 2000s Tony Scott vibes, which
Yeah.
is, you can like see the influence coming from a lot of different
Yeah, it's very
places.
cool. And then the whole crazy 88 battle is just like black and white.
Yeah.
And I like when it does that because
My favorite part about this whole battle was when we get to like the silhouette behind that like screen, and it was just like fully. Oh my god, I love that part.
realistic like physics and stuff like in the combat
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie. But when it goes black and white, it almost gives it the excuse to do that even more.
Yeah.
She's fighting 88 people, so that's already unbelievable. But it goes
Yeah.
black and white, and then it like allows her to defeat all these people because it's just like it becomes so fictional.
It's goofy.
So like old school, and people are just like flying around.
Feels like a
And
comic.
I have a few lines left that I really liked when Buck like first gets in the hospital and the
Yep.
nurse is explaining the rules of this transaction. He says no knuckle sandwiches under any circumstances. That line just made me laugh. It's like Buck just wants to go in there and punch her while she's asleep. It's like, what the hell? I love Go-Go's introduction when she's sitting
yeah.
at the bar chugging the beer, and she asks the guy if he wants to screw, and the guy's like
Very
the most
tough.
fucked up, ugly looking dude. He's like, ha, 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 like laughing at her, and then she just. And she's like, now I penetrate you. And then fucking
Yikes.
kills him at the bar with no repercussions. And then when she meets the bride, Uma
Yep.
Thurman, she does the little giggle on the stairs, which it's her character is just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, also,
As we kind of deserved. If we get a spinoff or anything at all, she needs her own movie, bro. She had aura before they
most
before the
iconic
kids was saying
lines when
aura.
Oren
She had
and
aura.
the bride have that big fight at the end, and she, takes her wig off.
Yep, literally.
Ren gets that last
To the
line
top
of,
off.
like, turned away from
I'm dripping
her.
like hot
She says
sauce.
That really was a Hattori Hanzo sword.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love her line too, where she like calls her out for being this white girl that can't handle the Japanese steel.
Yeah.
And then after she lands like the pre-fatal blow, like one of the good first strikes that Uma lands, and she's like, then she just apologizes mid-fight. She's like, oh, I apologize. Like, you can't handle it. And Uma's like, accepted. And then they
Yeah.
keep fighting, and then the wig pops
The way
up.
she says it is so weird too. She's like, I apologize for what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, like it was like 2 minutes ago. Like, it's like so funny. Like earlier.
Yeah.
Like barely. But yeah.
I really feel like looking back on it or watching this movie now over 20 years later, Lucy Liu is so slept on in this,
Yeah.
like the initial
Absolutely.
conversation about it obviously is like Uma and everyone else, but her,
Yeah.
like whole monologue.
This scene was fire too because she was like so chill, but was standing on business, bro. Like, yo.
The like little meeting or whatever, the council,
Yeah.
that monologue is insane. She,
It
She
is.
said she's gonna say it in English. So
Yes.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
what
she chops off Tanaka's head because he calls her like a half-breed bitch or something.
Yeah.
Collects his fucking head.
Collect
Yep.
it. And then at the end, she like exemplifies it with, if any of you bitches have anything else to fucking say it now.
Fucking time.
Yes, now's the fucking time. That just sets the tone
Hard.
for what Uma's going up against.
Yeah.
It's like this insane, sadistic loser.
Also, I know we're not talking about scenes right now, but like the scene when she first pulls up with the yellow fit on, yellow bike, pulls up next to a mint Fair Lady Z. Oh my, bro, car guy. That just, ooh, that did it for me, bro. That did it for me. Seen that age the best and
I'm gonna
worst.
start with worst scenes, so cover
Worst.
your ears.
Yes, please.
Because I've got a few.
Okay.
And these are based on personal preference.
Okay.
I will say I don't love the animation. I just don't.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
My brother. Really? All right, bro. I guess, man. I'm trying to think of a worse scene.
wish that it was regular, like told, acted. It just doesn't do as much for me. I just don't like the animation style that much either. Like I like some animation style, but this specific one didn't do it for me. That's just my personal take.
I get
on
it.
it.
You know, you entitled to that, bro.
I wrote that the blood spraying is like noticeably ridiculous in the movie, but it ends up working once I get to.
Have you ever had fun before?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you that I came around on it.
It's pretty fair, though.
Like, I wrote it down in worst, and then I came back to it and was like, okay.
It was silly, but I think for me, it kind of, again, added to like the unserious kind of comic cartoony nature of the whole thing, you know? Like, it's just goofy.
Trying to do
On
I like
purpose.
it, but it only in this context.
Right.
Like at
real.
first I was like, all right. Like when
That's
there's
too
like
much.
when there's like a head
Real.
as like a centerpiece of the table and it's spraying red water.
Have you ever
into the
seen
air.
a real head chopped off? You don't know what could happen.
Have you? Why have you seen that?
I'm just saying, don't rule
Twitter.
it out.
She's Jewish.
What does that have to do with?
Every
I
Friday
don't know.
night.
I've never been in a temple, but I heard crazy shit goes on in there. So with you.
It's crazy.
I also wrote, and let me just make sure I get this right. When she's fighting everyone off at the end, like Drake in the rap game, when push-ups came out, there are people just standing with swords behind her as she's slicing up other people, and I'm like,
Yeah, I didn't really like that part at all because there's like, bruh, why are we doing this? Like, come on, bro.
why don't those people just slice her? Is that a rule or something? Like, you can't do that. Because, yeah, she has her back to some people that just have blades, and they're just waiting for her to kill some of the other 88.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
There are rules to combat movies.
No, totally.
You know?
There are rules,
Yeah.
but I was asking if you guys know the rules, because I don't know them.
Yeah.
You
Real.
can't hit behind the head in UFC, you know?
True.
It's a respect thing.
Yeah, but there's a ref. There's no ref at a samurai fight.
The ref is kind of the god of fighting.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And a
Yeah.
warrior never strikes their opponent in their back.
These are the answers I was looking for.
Yeah.
And that's all. I mean, it doesn't have to be. We don't have to fight. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like
Yeah.
a bitch move. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
you would not be regarded as like a hero or like a great samurai warrior if you're just going to stab a bitch in the back.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like when Rick Ross started calling Drake white boy while he was in the
Yes.
midst of his
Okay.
big feud.
Yeah.
That was kind of a slice in the back.
All we
Yes.
gotta do is just put it in terms that
Yes,
you can
exactly.
Totally
Exactly.
get it now.
Yes.
Completely get it. Or Kanye doing a Like That remix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, Dad, I got you.
I don't really have any scenes that I think were bad.
Yo, bro. Look, bro, if y'all know, bro, Ye is my GOAT. Musically, my GOAT. But that, I mean, even though I did like it, and I kind of did like the over-the-top production of it, that was such a pointless song. Yo, Dot, I got you. Look, bro. Crazy. Actually crazy.
Perfect movie. My biggest gripe is within a scene that I really love, which is the opening fight scene. When she's in the kitchen, she's going to fix
You know
her-
what? Worst scene, in my opinion, because I always have disliked this about Tarantino, and I'm going to continue to stand on this because I think it's weird. We all know Tarantino loves his foot shots. I was so fed up when she like crawled herself into the PW and she was in the back seat and it just kept going back and forth from her to her feet and her telling herself to like wiggle her big toe, and it was just like way too long of a scene and very awkward and weird, and I was not a fan of that.
her child's cereal, pulls out the box of Kaboom, and there's a hidden gun in there that she shoots at Uma and misses. And then Uma kicks the coffee cup and throws the knife, which is a badass way to kill someone.
Yeah,
we can all
very.
agree on that. But how is this highly trained assassin going to miss a shot from me to the camera?
Literally.
about it.
And I didn't like your excuse.
I said the gun was in the cereal box. That's it.
I will say, awesome that it's a kaboom box.
Yes.
Because
Real.
the gun makes a kaboom sound.
Kaboom!
There you go.
Kablammy!
Kablammo.
Yeah.
Wham!
I will say, if you're hitting cardboard on the way out, that might change the trajectory of the bullet.
Absolutely.
Dude, they're like 2 feet apart.
And it's very thin cardboard. If it was like an Amazon box, it'd be like, all right, maybe, I guess. But like, dude, that's pretty thin. It's pretty thin cardboard. I don't know if it would have that much impact. You know, like it was pretty much her head was here, right? And the bullet went in over here. Like that's a pretty big gap. And I don't think that thin of cardboard would have done that.
Come on, don't say that. We're talking about a Quentin.
You know what? I guess I got a myth bust and shoot a gun through a cereal box to see what happens.
You can't say 2 feet apart.
And
Notice
she,
what
They
I
gotta
did?
be together.
Wiggle your big toe for me, Quentin.
Yeah, I did not like that scene,
That's how we're
bro.
gonna get the views.
why are my socks
They're
so
dirty. What the hell?
Yeah, that's crazy.
She also ducked out of the way to avoid it.
Oh my god, they're so close.
She didn't duck very much.
Not really.
It's like a wide miss.
Oh,
Like if I
yeah.
was shooting at you,
Yeah.
I like strike the wall over here. She's like, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my only gripe.
That's
I know
fair.
There's unrealistic like killing and whatever throughout the whole thing, but it's hard for me to believe that one of the deadly assassins just misses that shot.
I do
Yeah,
have one
that's
more
real.
thing for worst before I
Please.
get to all the praise of the movie that I know Eden's gonna love. I do hate the slow motion losing frames shit. I know it kind of works for this movie, but I
does.
don't like it ever.
Yeah, just
Like,
like as
That's fair.
Just shoot it in 60 frames so it looks good when it's slowed down. There's
Yeah.
so many moments that they're slowed down at different
That's
rates,
understandable.
too. It like doesn't lose the same amount of frames every time where like each slow motion shot looks the same. It's like they just look like shitty slow motion shots thrown throughout. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it would look cooler if it was just done correctly.
I think that's kind of the challenge,
Fair point.
though, is to like fix in things that look really bad from all these or low budget like spaghetti westerners. and shit
Yeah.
like that. Is like, let me take things that just these other people could only do and fit them into something that is actually stylish.
That's a fair point.
That's how I see like the.
That's a fair point.
Tarantino gears turning, but who's to say? Best scenes.
I think maybe I have one thing to say.
Okay.
Just one.
Okay.
But it's kind of big. I feel like at the end, when Bill is talking to Sophie, we find out that her daughter is still alive, and it's that big, like, and then we
Yeah.
wait 6 months to go see part 2. I
At
don't-
4 years old.
Yeah, I don't love it, especially like how
That's
you
real.
find out that she is alive in the second one. It would almost be better to just have it be that moment instead of.
And I think honestly, I didn't think about this in that way because again, we did a double feature. Literally, we had like a 10-minute intermission in between movies, so like it was very just linear in the watching. But I didn't think about the fact that it really did take 6 months to watch that part. So I didn't really watch it with that lens.
Does she know her daughter's still alive? Dun dun dun. Credits roll. I don't know. It's just like a little cheesy to me. I like the way that they
weird.
reveal it in the second part anyway. So like I don't know why we need that.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Fair.
when you come back from commercial in a mid 2000s show and it shows you the 30 seconds before you went to
Yeah.
commercial.
Previously on
Yeah.
the OC.
Yeah, like gives you the shock at the end of one, and then when you go back 6 months later, it's like maybe some people don't even remember that. And then you
Yeah.
get, like another reveal.
Yeah.
It's like corny, but again, this whole movie is like, if it's not Tarantino, if anyone else makes this, like this movie sucks.
Yeah.
That's one of my
agree.
favorite things in TV shows now when you watch them on streaming that are from the 2000s is it it'll be like right before commercial something will happen.
Yep.
And then it'll come back from commercial and it'll show you that exact same
Yeah.
scene.
Yep.
So you just watch a scene twice in a
Yeah.
row because there's no commercials on streaming.
Literally.
It's great.
Everyone's attention span's going to shit. TikTok.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's fine.
Yeah.
So,
The kids will be okay.
Aiden, you want to take the
No, they
lead?
won't.
Let's see here. One of my favorite moments is when she walks into Hattori Hanzo's sushi restaurant and she pretends to be this like ditzy American
yes.
that doesn't know
Yeah.
any Japanese, and she's like, "Today I learned domo and arigato." And then she says that she's there to see him, and then they immediately go into speaking fluent Japanese with
Yeah.
each other.
Yep.
So
That was
You
tough.
hear the glass break in the back.
Yeah.
I'm here to see you, and it goes. He doesn't even drop it. It's just like somewhere in the background. Someone else is like, "Oh
Yep.
shit!" I love like a really concise scene is like when
I like one of my favorite scenes too is when she's like done killing the 88 and has what's her name in the trunk and is like, "Look, bruh, I left you alive for a reason, bro. You gotta relay this message for me. And you feel me? And we good." and then just rolls her down a hill straight into the hospital. And then all the nurses run out as if they were just watching and waiting for something to happen. It's goofy, but it's such a good scene because it's like, yo, she really means business, bro. She done chopped off all her limbs. Run's like, hey, you're alive for a reason. Like, I could have killed you. I wanted to, but I didn't because I need you alive so you can, you know what I'm saying? That was fire.
First wakes up in the hospital, you get the shot of the mosquito in her skin, sucks blood, and then it's the firing of the gun that goes through her head, and then it like all like, and then she wakes up and then realizes she doesn't have her baby and starts crying, and then like has to fake back asleep. Like that 2 minutes tight was just so fire. And then if you extend that scene out to her like crawling out of the hospital, she puts on the shades, gets the pussy wagon keys, gets in the wheelchair, finds the car, and then the laying in the back seat and like trying to will her limbs out of entropy is just awesome. That
crazy
scene might be my favorite.
I usually don't like when movies are like out of order, but
that's one of my favorite things about a lot of movies, especially Tarantino movies, honestly. And that's kind of what made me gravitate towards a lot of his movies, because I really enjoy having to like piece things together and be like, oh, okay, so this happened before this, and then this is what led up to this, and then this just happened, but it really doesn't happen until way later. You know, I really like stuff like that.
The way that this movie signifies that is great. Like, she's driving in the pussy wagon away from the kaboom like house situation, and then you see her get the pussy wagon keys for the first time in the second chapter. Like, that's really cool.
Crazy.
It works, and it's easy to follow. I think those two scenes are my favorite in the whole movie. Is the kaboom, like right at the beginning. That scene is just so colorful and well done. And like, I love even the way that Uma's character is standing after she kills Vernita. She like steps out of the way, and the reveal of the child in the background. It's like so well orchestrated, perfect scene. And then the Buck scene, it's disgusting, but it is such a perfect scene.
It is.
Like, his laugh.
Oh,
It's such a stupid.
I think it's Michael Bowen. He's been in like all Tarantino's movies, and he is just like he's the perfect character.
It's so funny. They ham it up so much. Like, he's just like, he's so like excited, grimy piece of shit guy.
He says to her, what does he say? He gets on top of her and he's like, you're the best smelling one I've had all day. Or something.
Gross. He's on like number 5. He's like, you're
my goodness.
I had all day, and I'm like, all day.
Yikes!
This guy's putting in work at the hospital.
And then another thing that I wanted to point out that I love that Tarantino does in this movie is the way he uses silence and space in the combat scenes is so awesome, because it just creates humor out of like zero dialogue.
Right.
Yeah.
In that final scene where Oren and Black Mamba are like fighting, there's a time where they're kind of like in a stale standoff, just like holding their swords. And then in the foreground, you just see that little water fountain go.
Yup.
And it literally made me laugh out loud. Yeah. And there's no, like, the idea to do that is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Like, why? But it just works.
It
It's
does.
also, I don't know, it creates like this weird, like a serenity around it. Like, there's this soft snow and this back of this, like.
Honestly, if you're gonna die in a sword fight, you might as well do it in a beautiful garden like that. You know, like, why
traditional
not?
house, and then it's just like so peaceful. Besides these two warriors,
A nice place to die, in my opinion.
Right at the beginning, when she pulls up to Vernita's house, she like turns off the car and then she looks like right into the camera. I'm a sucker for a fourth wall break if it's done right.
I think that's literally. Oh wait, no, that's not. I was about to say. I think that's literally where I stopped scrolling right here, but it's not. But I did see that when I was scrolling through, because that's something we always mention whenever we're watching anything. Literally, there's a fourth wall break. We gotta talk about it.
And that is bookend by part 2 in the last scene when she does the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it kind of plays into like movie within a movie. Very Brechtian. You guys can look that word up if you want.
Yeah.
But I like that.
And in the second one, that's where she says, life moves pretty fast.
Yeah. If you don't stop
and
and
smell
look,
the flowers, you
can get your head fucking
if you blink,
collected.
You might miss it.
Yeah.
You might get your wig fucking slapped. I love
to the top
too.
off.
I think it's really just a whole chapter of the Blue Leaves house when there's the punk rock band.
Oh
playing
yeah, that
barefoot,
was
and it's
fire.
like this happy occasion, and I love when Oren has that sixth sense. There's the suspicion. They're at the table, and she doesn't even turn and look, but she fucking throws that little knife through the paper wall, and it almost hits Uma, and she sends
Yep.
Go-Go over to look for her. And this is like the introduction of obviously the classic yellow shoes and the
Yep.
jumpsuit. You see it on the motorcycle, but the whole fit's there as she's like holding herself above, and Go-Go's like the
Crazy.
classic. Something's going on in here.
Something's
She, like,
afoot.
starts to slip for a second. She's like, and again, this is a highly trained expert assassin who doesn't know to look up.
Yeah.
This room's empty. It's like, doesn't look under the bed, doesn't look up. There's nowhere else. It's just like,
Yep.
all right, let me get that knife and give it back to the boss. So
I will say also, in that final stretch of fighting, all of that stuff, like the party into the final fight with Oren, it's like Uma's footwork is like she's like a clumsy white girl. Like, everybody
Yeah.
else is like whatever, and like the way that she jumps down from being up there, the way that
Yep.
she's standing off with Oren at the end, it's like she's like stumbling around, and I'm like, I have a hard time believing that she truly would beat them,
Yeah.
but it's fine. It's like the movie has earned it by being
Yeah.
campy the whole time. That I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
she can do
Whatever.
that.
there are
Yeah.
some other details in Blue Leaves that I really want to point out. There's the pool that she throws like the first victim in. Like the first person she kills.
Yeah.
Later on, after she runs up the railing, which is a
Oh, yeah.
classic samurai trope. Like I
Absolutely.
love the idea, like just alternative ways to get up places that are like a little sneakier, show like a little more finesse. Like instead of running up the stairs, she takes the railing. When she throws someone off that railing back into the pool at this point is fully red.
Yup.
Yeah, I love that detail is
Yeah.
in there. You know, when you twist someone's arm in a karate movie or something, or a martial arts movie, and they flip and fall, they're usually just dead, no vocalizing, unconscious. When it's
Yeah.
a room full of everyone she's defeated, no one's dead. Like a few
At
people
all.
are dead, but the whole room is filled with people going, oh! There's the one guy like slipping on his blood. They're,
Yeah.
like, crawling around, and she says, for those of you still alive, you can leave and take your lives with you, but the limbs I've taken, leave them, they're mine.
Yep.
And then the last detail in there is when she does back into that room, and it's like the final 8 people she's about to fight, and they kill the lights.
Yup.
And that fight is just all silhouettes.
This is my favorite scene. I love this scene so much.
That is just like so beautiful, so crazy
is.
cool.
Another scene I love is when she's facing off against the kid and starts chopping his sword down.
Yeah.
And then she spanks him and tells him to go home to his mother.
That's what you get for messing with Yakuzas.
And before the
Crazy.
fight breaks out, when the suspicion is still twirling and stuff, she like sneaks into the one room where there's just like, it's like the lawyer character and a few other of Oren's like baddies hanging out, and they just have a hired Charlie Brown.
Yup.
The one guy in the Charlie Brown like whatever outfit, and they're just like drunk, like Charlie Brown. And she's like, and then the fighting starts. It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck kind of sickos are these? And then right before that fighting starts, that's when they use the Quincy Jones Ironside, which we'll get into in a
Yeah.
second. But fuck, it's a good soundtrack. That's pretty much the whole
It
movie.
is a
All
really
of
great
those
soundtrack.
scenes for the most part.
RZA, oh man, how do we different
guns?
today? Definitely more
There's
guns.
a lot of knives in this movie.
Yeah,
not
way
a lot
more
of
guns.
I think there's only the Kaboom cereal box gun.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays,
In that movie, and then the second one, there's the shotgun, I believe, through the RV door.
that's just so unrealistic.
Yeah, what's that Angelina Jolie movie where she can twist the bullet?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
No, that's badass. Too.
No.
Maybe it's not. Maybe she's not in it. But you know what
yeah.
I'm talking about, where they twist the bullets?
Is where I
Would you
wanted.
like her to be?
And she literally just like went all the way around the room, and then it hit her. So that scene was so far. I like that movie, bruh. I like that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Recast Angelina Jolie. Yeah, more guns. They'd go to like Wisconsin to Smith and Wesson's house. And be like, I need a good pistol. He's like, I don't make those anymore. I just watch baseball. I love the Brewers.
You like guns? I like baseball. I'm not making you a gun.
Blows it up. I really just have that it probably would be less badass.
People
Yeah.
don't nearly have as much blood as they used to back
No.
No, yeah.
It wouldn't be that far.
Thin-blooded liberals. No.
then. And I'm anemic as hell, so
Fuck.
and they probably wouldn't have taken her babies. It's super. You can't.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that now.
Isn't around anymore.
Ah,
Yeah.
shit.
So they would have had to have her keep it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it still lives.
Those are those late stage abortions they're talking about.
Ah.
C-sections.
Yeah, after they're born.
Fuck.
That's what they're saying.
Post-birth abortions.
They're not pushing babies anymore.
Week.
Oh, dude, you were 29.
Yeah, I know. He tried to choke me out though.
Ah,
Yikes.
I should have never had you.
your dad doesn't sound like that.
I knocked his hand away and I was like, dude, you are fucking weak.
I think this movie would be called Eradicate William.
Helium billium.
Helium Billium.
Oh, Cillian Murphy could be in it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh,
Yo.
I want to put him in everything.
put him in my mouth.
I saw that coming.
I just have
Recast?
Scarlett Johansson as all the Japanese people.
Zing, zing, zing. Take
No,
that
that's
one,
crazy.
ScarJo.
Maybe one Emma Stone appearance. Just for like,
That's crazy.
She's
She
Japanese.
looks Japanese enough.
well, she
On what planet?
Zing,
Earth?
zing, zang. Take
Which
that one,
one?
ScarJo.
maybe one
Here?
Emma Stone appearance.
Look, man, I can't give her that.
Just for like the.
Oh, yeah.
I can't give her
She's
that.
She
Japanese.
looks Japanese enough.
I can't give her that. I don't see
She
it.
also partook. Don't you know she
Oh.
did that? She played a Hawaiian woman.
No shot.
Native Hawaiian.
No shot.
Good for her. She has range. I've always said that.
She does,
You
though.
said
She
Lily
does.
Rose Depp would play Lady Uma Thurman
I
in a
actually,
remake.
I think
Okay.
it's like no one wanted to see that when you brought it up.
I have been
That's
seeing
fair.
it a lot in my head today.
I can't think of any.
And The Weeknd is Bill.
Oh my god.
Say less, Queen.
Yo, he's dropping a single this week. We're eating so good. We're eating so good in 2024, bro. Oh my god.
I just wrote Henry Winkler as Bill.
Oh my god, wait a minute. I'm crazy. Okay, so I do have a recast, but not for a movie. Okay, Leamy, once again, shout out to Leamy. We have been cooked because I'm a big wrestling fan now. I wasn't like 2 years ago, but I am now. Major wrestling fan. I've been watching a lot of, NXT, of course. And the other day, Carmen Petrovic was on TNA. She came out with a sword. Her hair was up, and I was just like, yo. I didn't even say this. I was streaming. I didn't even say this out loud, but I was like, yo, she kind of looks like Uma Thurman here. Like, that would be fire. Like, 2 minutes later, because of, like, stream delay, Leamy was like, yo, imagine, like, if she did, like, a Kill Bill style storyline. And we literally cooked up, like, the perfect scenario to kind of go off of, like, the theme of that movie. And I think we landed on Bret Hart as Bill. And the crazy part is he's literally going to be on Raw tonight as of recording. He's going to be making his return in Calgary on Raw. And we were like just talking about that. I'm probably not going to drop this for like a week, but still though, it's just insane.
I just think that's funny. I know you don't see him in this one, but if you're watching this because you've seen it or you've watched one, I assume you've already watched two.
Yeah.
And for some reason, his little funny face to me as just this maniacal, evil leader of a gang of female assassins
real.
is about the funniest thing I could think of.
That's fair.
I wanted to recast all the Vipers, but I ran out of bandwidth, and I just kept fixating on Henry Winkler and Lily Rose Depp.
Why don't
Bill.
you recast all of the Crazy 88? All 88 of them.
Riley did that with ScarJo.
Oh, right. They're all going to be okay. That's a lot of special effects.
It is.
No?
No, just tripod shot. And then
I'm sticking with The Weeknd playing Bill, regardless of who
not.
Thurman is. I think
Like I
he
said,
would
Bret
love to play
Hart-
that role.
Oh, he would.
This is me.
Or we said Edge too, but like Judgment Day Edge, so like it's not really gonna work now. Cause like he's Christian Cage now. Edge is dead, apparently. R.I.P. Edge. Y'all be watching AEW. I be watching highlights and stuff. I ain't never watched it live, and I don't know if I will. But I like some of the wrestlers over there, though. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to The Acclaimed. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let me just.
Masochistic.
How did she survive the headshot? No one? She gets shot in the temple, dog.
She
was that a
did.
temple?
Yeah,
I thought it was just like a
I
party.
think it was a church.
That was a
Really
party.
funny and good. It's all good stuff, man.
All right, well, you guys sucked at that, so let's do the soundtrack,
I thought
right?
you did good.
Soundtrack.
That's a
You
good
said
thing.
ScarJo. is
That's a
Japanese
good joke.
Oh, and Henry Winkler is not funny to look at.
You said Henley Winkler. I don't know who Henley Winkler is.
Henry Winkler.
Don, okay, Henry Winkler in a Henley,
Yes.
Real.
and he looks hot.
Real.
The 5, 6, 7, 8s perform in this. That's the band that's performing
At the Little League's house.
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
cool. All right.
And they are a Japanese rock band from Tokyo. They first started performing as a quartet, and they've toured the world. And according to Quentin Tarantino, he discovered their music hearing it in an urban clothing store in Tokyo.
Wow.
That's his words.
Okay.
He said urban clothing store in Tokyo.
What's wrong with that?
That's
I'm
crazy.
just saying that Quentin Tarantino said that.
Urban Outfitters today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he apparently asked if he could purchase the CD from the store, and they said no. And then he offered
Yikes.
them double price of the CD, and they said yes.
Oh,
That's
nice.
crazy.
You know what? That's what I like about countries outside of America. Everything's
Yeah.
for sale. You just got to haggle.
I just love
Yeah.
that he was like, $10 for the CD. And they were like, no. He's like, $20 for the CD. And they were like, absolutely, Mr. Tarantino. And then he got connected with the band and cast them in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Fire.
a ton of good, real Japanese rock bands in this. The whole thing's done by the RZA,
Yes.
which is Wu-Tang Clan, who obviously...
Which I
had
didn't
this-
remember that or know that. But like when I was watching the movie and the credits rolled, and I'm like, wait, RZA? Like crazy.
symbiotic relationship with martial arts. 36
Yes.
chambers. Wow, 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 wow. That's how their songs usually start.
Yes.
That wasn't offensive. I apologize if it was.
Cue the music.
And
But you're saying it's not.
It's
it
not.
wasn't.
It's not offensive.
but if it offended you, my fucking bad.
Yeah, that's fine. Wu-Tang
That is
Clan
fine.
is a bunch of Japanese guys.
No.
Yes
Ah,
I don't know.
or no?
I can't call it.
I don't want to say it.
I can't
Nancy
call it.
Sinatra is not.
Nancy
wouldn't think
Sinatra's
so.
not. It's a great opening tune.
And it is probably the best opening song of all time.
It's up there. I love the use of Quincy Jones's Ironside, as I
Yes.
alluded to earlier. That's that. That crazy noise that happens like when shit is about to go down. I think
Yeah.
a couple times.
It's actually it's every time that Uma sees the face of an assassin.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I also love Bernard Herrmann,
on.
Twisted Nerve.
I knew there was
That's
something
the
else.
whistling sound
Yes.
in it.
That
It's like
scene
an
is-
original composite, like an old classical thing.
That scene is just electric.
And then obviously reprised for Chill Bill by Rob Stone.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Great
That
song.
character
And the remix with
California
Denzel Curry, which he had the best verse.
Mountain Snake. So that character that's whistling, the California Mountain Snake, is based off a 73 exploitation film that the main character is mute and has an eye patch and like seeks revenge on all these people that have done her wrong. A cool little, nod to source material, which this movie is full of. That being said, I also love the Isaac Hayes needle drop that comes in when she's in the wheelchair, like kind of looking for the pussy wagon at first. When that song hits for some reason, it just like ramps it up. You're like, oh, we're on the move here.
Real.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it
it's
just
very-
gets me going. Like I got so
Yeah.
hyped when that came on.
A lot of momentum.
Yes. One tiny plot hole there. She does sit in the back of that car for like 4 hours. It says.
Yeah.
What kind of hospital are we running in there? First off,
saying.
people are getting fucked for $50. Second
Literally.
off, there's a dude with his tongue bit out, unconscious in
Yep.
that room. Another person dead. No one's like, oh yeah, this dude's dead. Maybe we
Yeah.
should check his car or something. Like, how do 4 hours
Literally.
go by and she sits there?
And you could argue that maybe because I don't think we get any real confirmation on what year this was set in. If you notice the date, we're coming up on an unfortunate anniversary. Maybe this was set in a pre 9/11 world where not everyone was so like strict on security. Because if people don't know, I feel like a lot of us, a lot of y'all are really young. Obviously, I am. I was born 3 years after this, but I know that the world changed a lot after that in so many aspects. Not just TSA being a thing, not just the Patriot Act. Like hospitals got like stricter with security, like all type of stuff, bro. And it's gotten way more because like there's crazy people that like go shoot up schools and hospitals and stuff. So like it's gotten even crazier. But like still though, I think back then you kind of literally just like walk in and out of anywhere and just kind of like hang around, and like nobody would really care,
She had sunglasses on, so if they passed her, they probably just didn't know who she was.
Yeah, that's a pretty good disguise.
Yeah, true. Anyway, excellent soundtrack.
That too.
Absolutely love it. This might be the best soundtrack we've. This beats School of Rock in my mind.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really
Okay.
fucking good.
Yeah, because this one uses music in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I loved when I looked up like the Ironside thing being used for a specific thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that whistling thing just being like, there's so many things that are made iconic by just their employment in the movie.
Yeah.
Like where they choose to use these things like make the movie stand out. There's a lot of stuff like that. Even the costuming is like that.
Oh yeah.
I even love like there's this. We talked about it. The song that is there when Uma meets the swords, like when she goes up there. It's like kind of like. It's almost like
angelic.
Yeah,
ceremonial.
Like, it's like you
Come to
picture
God.
children in the fields of heaven, like skipping around. It's like almost too cute for the moment.
Yeah.
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 But it's not even. It doesn't imply like the mission or anything. It's just like very serene and happy and cute, and it's so strange. And then you have the baseball line that like kind of breaks it up.
I also feel like with the music in this one, and then obviously in part 2, it becomes like a little more apparent within the actual film. There's like a lot of Western influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah, of
what
course.
is that instrument called? The
Oh, just the.
they got
Crazy.
a bird collar and
Do that. Do the thing. You used to do that. No, you did like a squirrel. You used to do a squirrel sound.
What the heck?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like that, but it was better.
What the hell?
punching
You
What's,
used to do that. That was your thing.
what a squirrel sound?
You were the squirrel boy.
Okay, well, I love the
Squirrel
nod to
boy?
Western stuff too, especially like you're in this deep.
What am I, chopped liver over
Yeah,
here?
yeah, I never did a squirrel
Do you
sound.
believe this?
You're in
do a
this.
squirrel sound.
I'm trying to keep things going. I'm just
Yo.
trying to have some fun, and then all of a sudden, because these two are spoiler alert, these two are dating, and
What? Yo! No way!
they just go back into a conversation about the movie. It's ridiculous. I just wanted to hear Squirrel Boy do the squirrel thing.
I just want to hear him do a little rodent sound. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
there's
saying?
nothing wrong with the little rodent sound halfway through the video.
Shout out to rodents, man. If any of y'all watching,
God, I hope
I rock
so.
with y'all.
I also love the use of Western music. It does become more apparent in V2. We're in
Yes.
Tori's house, which is this traditional Japanese house, and he writes Bill on the window. And you'd expect it to almost go into like kind of a Japanese style of music, but instead it just slips into like bam, bam, bam. Yeah. It's cool. I love how he mashes like the exploitation, violence movies, martial arts, and the spaghetti westerns into
Yep.
something 2003.
It comes together so perfectly.
It does.
It all makes sense, and it's like why did no one do it before?
It's
Yeah.
like when he put the Rick Ross song in
Django.
in Django.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would. I feel like I had barely seen it. I
have.
saw it when I was 14 and didn't pay that
Yeah.
much attention.
Yes.
I have not seen Volume 2, and I know that I need to.
Okay, volume 2. I just wanted to bring this up real quick because I didn't know this. So again, Car Guy in volume 2, one of the first scenes. It's not the first scene, I don't think, but one of the first scenes when they're like in the desert, or whatever. There's a car parked up. It's a De Tomaso Mangusta. I believe I just completely butchered the name, but something like that. It's an Italian car, of course. I'm pretty sure the designer of that car also designed the Lamborghini Countach, the first one, and possibly like the facelift it got a couple of years later. So that's how I recognized it, but I couldn't remember the name. So I looked it up, and Mangusta is Italian for mongoose, which is, of course, a snake killer. So it's like a little Easter egg of like, okay, this car is sitting here. We're kind of posted up. This is the vibe. We're setting the tone. We're about to kill some snakes because the deadly Viper Assassination Society or whatever it's called. They're all snake names. So it's like, I just thought that was a cool little detail. Again, as a car guy, I'm literally such a nerd for stuff like that, bro.
I haven't yet.
It's
But I would
fire.
say I already want to watch Volume 2.
That was my favorite Volume 2 moment that I didn't remember.
I think we will be.
Because I think I remembered Volume 2 more than Volume 1. A lot of stuff that I remembered going into both movies again ended up just being in Volume 2. Of course, there were a lot of scenes from Volume 1 that I remembered, but I think that movie stuck with me more in terms of like detail.
In volume 2.
Right after this.
Yeah.
And we might have to make another video because if you guys thought I had a lot to say about this one, just wait.
Ooh.
Would you recommend it to someone, Eden?
Of course I would.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
nice.
Now that I really think
I
about
would, and
it,
I haven't. I'd do it
I
again.
don't know if I trust everyone with this movie.
Yeah.
That's a fair
I'm not looking at
point.
you.
No, you-
Like, I don't-
that's
That's a fair
I
point.
am looking at
Don't
you,
say you're not looking
but
at me when
I'm
you are.
not thinking.
I would recommend it to the right person that hasn't seen it, you know?
Yeah, I get it. I will say, okay, we watched this movie. I was writing notes the whole time. And right when it ended, Eden was like, great. You hated it. I was like, no, I might not love it as much as you, but that pissed her off enough that I haven't seen her for 3 days until we filmed it.
When I watch this, I can't imagine anyone not having like a visceral reaction, like a come to Jesus, like, oh my God, like sweating.
And that's literally the reaction that like we had in Discord, because like this is still one of my favorite movies. It's not my top 5. Neither one are all time, and I probably need to do a comprehensive list of like my top 30, top 50 or something, because I've seen a lot of movies. So I probably could, but like off top, it's not up there for me, but it's definitely one of the ones that like I can rewatch, because I'm not a movie rewatcher. I don't really like to rewatch things a lot, because again, I have a good memory with this stuff. So if I'm like, all respect to people that like watch their same favorite movie that they watch when they were like 4 years old all the time. Definitely respect y'all. I get it. Could never be me. Same thing with shows. I'm not really like rewatching shows except for SpongeBob. Because I can just never get sick of the early seasons. But like, this movie is one of those ones that like I'm gonna end up watching again in like 12 years, just cause, you know, probably not any sooner than that since I just saw it, but you know, it's up there for me in terms of just enjoyability. It's a great movie.
Through their shirt.
Both of them are.
Moment.
Right.
And you were just like,
So you're not Jewish anymore?
you can still come to Jesus.
Really?
Yeah. You can be Jewish.
Oh, he was ripped.
Yeah, he had crazy abs. I said this to Eden afterwards, but like, this is just isn't my type of movie. That being said, I loved it. It's just like, combat doesn't get me off. You know, you guys seem to get off the combat.
Yeah, it does for me.
When it's
I don't.
When it's done really well.
Wasn't even bricked once, but like,
Just so fucking fun. And
It's a great movie.
I would recommend this to someone who hasn't seen it, specifically to people who like have a bad idea about that genre, because I think I fell into that so much, like cynicism over action movies. I was like, oh, this shit sucks. If a movie's whole theme is action, like that takes away from plot, character development, whatever. This really is.
I don't like movies when they're just action and have, like, you can tell that the focus was purely on that and had nothing to do with like plot or connecting anything or making anything make sense. And then also other little minor details outside of that kind of got overshadowed by that. Like The Gray Man 2022, I was so bored watching that movie. And the action sequences were like, okay, they were pretty decent, especially for a modern movie. But like, there was nothing that really like kept me interested. I genuinely was like checking. I know a movie's boring when I'm like checking my phone every like 10, 15 minutes. Cause like, you know, I kind of just don't really care what's going on. And I was on Instagram while I was watching that movie because it was just boring. And that's the type of action movie I can't get behind. But when there's like a relatively solid story, even if it's just like a get this subject to a certain location before something happens or whatever, that's pretty decent. Like Extraction, I love both of those movies. They're some of the best modern action movies in my opinion. I'm trying to think of another one that's like action based but still has enough to keep you interested outside of that, you know? I don't know. I can't think of any more off top like that, but those two are other ones that like actually worked out in my opinion. This one I would consider it an action comedy, I guess, but I feel like the story overall, because of how severe it is to start off, like once you know the story, it's like, bro, the action is really, you know, the kind of, it's in the background of what's going on here. Like, it's for a reason. It's not just senseless action just for the sake of being action. It's action with a purpose, you know?
As our guy
I can get
Raj
behind
said,
that.
like just an exhibition of like how to direct something so excellent that like you can't take your eyes away. This movie's not about anything. You don't even really get a lead character's name to the second one.
Literally.
It's just like the execution of all these different shots and how they link up and the acknowledgement of source material that is just so fucking fun. And like that's what makes a great action movie.
If I'm going to show this to someone, I have to be prepared that I'm not going to feel the same way about them.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on how they react to it.
Totally.
Which isn't the case for all movies, but ones that you feel strongly about.
There's a couple of movies that I agree with that, where like if I showed someone a movie and they didn't have the reaction that I think that they should have or would have, I would definitely look at them different after.
It's kind of like
sure.
politics, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we're not agreeing on that, then there's just a moral compass that we're not aligning on. So
Totally.
that's how I feel.
I
about
agree.
that.
I feel like we're great friends, even though you're a Republican.
You know what?
I mean, yeah, I feel like we've set aside our differences. You know,
I feel like this is my pants. I'm just wearing red.
Yo, Letterboxd.
I gave it 4 stars.
I'm pretty sure I offloaded that app. I gotta really like lock in on there, man.
Said Tarantino with another.
I think the last time I opened it is when I first watched this series, like when they first started, and I watched the first episode and followed them. I don't think I've opened it since. Literally, if I checked my settings right now, I would definitely say I haven't opened it in months.
cinema.
You fucking. That's
Feet,
fucking
feet is spelled Feet, by the way.
Nice.
There is feet. There is feet. If you were
Definitely.
wondering about the feet, there are feet.
It's a Tarantino movie. There's gonna be. I think the only one I can think of off top that doesn't have a foot shot might be Hateful Eight, and I'm pretty sure there still is one, and I just chose not to remember it. Because again, I don't get it, man. Look, bro, if you're a foot person, shout out to you. As long as you're not on the Dan Schneider wave with it, do you? Consenting adults only, whatever. You know, I don't kink shame anymore. I used to. I don't anymore. But I just don't get it, bro. What?
Have you reviewed this before?
What?
I have. I reviewed it a few days ago
Okay.
when we watched, and I'm going to read it aloud to you now.
Yes, please
Nice.
aloud.
5 stars. I feel so strongly about this movie all of the time. It like weighs on me daily. I feel so lucky to be so passionate about something, even if it is just this one film. My heart bleeds for it, and it hurts to love so much.
It's a valid take right there. It's a very valid take. I'm not mad that she hasn't watched Titanic now. I'm not. See, I feel like, and that's why I love these videos, because I get to learn more about Eden, and I feel like I needed to hear that, you know? Now I can safely say Eden is valid, and we're gonna drop the bomb again. We're gonna drop the bomb again. Because that's a very valid take right there. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is one of those movies that I feel like, you know, I think with me and movies, a lot of movies have like that kind of cultural impact where I'm either thinking about it every day, seeing references from it in other things, or just referencing it myself in certain situations, or, you know, one of those things that kind of just pops up into your head every now and then. Like, I kid you not, every now and then I kind of just think about that scene I have since I was a little kid, of that scene when they're in the garden, she just chops her head off, and then it slowly pans up and you can see just like the cleanest slice off the top of her head. Like, stuff like that is just like, dude, this is what movies and like making film is about, bro. This is what it's about, bro. Which, speaking of, they gotta do How Did It Age on a classic. I think they should do hold on, I forgot the name of the movie. I forgot the name of the movie already, bro. I just watched it for the first time, and it was a great movie. Charade. They should do a How Did It Age on Charade. That was a really good movie. That's probably one of the oldest movies I've watched, aside from Metropolis, which was a great movie as well. I watched that one in school. But I haven't watched too many. You know, I gotta really brush up on the classics. I haven't seen too many classics for real. And I feel like we can't even really count that, because there's probably a whole bunch of movies that are like turning 100 this year, next year, whatever it may be, that are like real classics. But, you know, to me, that's a classic. They gotta run up some of those. See how those age, because, you know, it's been a little longer.
I have 4.5 stars, and I said, "Damn, might be Tarantino's best."
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yep. There's only 2
valid.
movies I've watched in the last 6 months that have come that close to gracing the 5-star ratings.
Can we just go on like one tangent for 1 second? If you guys have the
Please.
time.
Sure.
Is there a better Tarantino movie than this?
I think this is a good debate to have, honestly. Real quick at the end,
Riley, we'll start with you.
is this the best Tarantino?
Well, I haven't seen all of them.
Okay.
I haven't seen all of them
And
either,
I
but I've
feel
seen a
like
lot.
I'm more basic than you guys when it comes to Tarantino. Like, to me, the
Yeah.
most fun Tarantino movie to watch, for me, most fun, is Django. I think it's
Absolutely.
super fun
That's for me. That's #1 favorite movies ever, bro. Literally, the first time I watched that movie, I watched it 3 times that day. That day, bro. I watched it at like 4 a.m. by myself. It was amazing. And then I watched it with my mom. I was like, yo, you gotta watch this. And then I watched it with my grandma again because it was, bro, you gotta watch this. Really enjoyed that movie, bro. I really enjoyed that movie. So like that is, I agree with that take.
But I mean, it's fucked up, but it's like it's like fun
It is.
to watch.
And that's something that I want to do. So I need to watch it with like an old white guy, and just kind of mean mug him the whole time and see what scenes he laughs at, just to like make him uncomfortable, because it is a really messed up movie, of course, but like it's so funny. But like, I think I have to watch it a couple more times to not laugh at certain scenes, because there's a couple of scenes that I just can't help but cackle at, bro.
And I think Inglourious
Genuinely.
Basterds is great.
Love Inglourious
That's a good one.
Basterds.
And I will say, I feel like I've been on many different sides of this debate before, but at this point now,
I get it. Every wannabe film, bro, every guy has the Pulp Fiction poster. This was the movie that made me realize that I really cared about movies and details in movies. Because again, I've been watching movies for a very long time, but I wasn't the type of guy that was like sticking around for the credits. I'd be like, okay, that was a good movie, and then just like kept it moving. I watched the movie like 3 times and was like, whoa. And then I realized that everyone else had that reaction, so I kind of stopped talking about it. But it is one of those movies that's just like, bro, yeah, everyone has a poster because it's a good movie.
I think Pulp Fiction is overhated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it is because, again, everyone, really enjoys that movie. And I think there's a certain, and I'm not going to say who's the reason for the kind of stigma around it and around film bros and all that. I'm not going to get into who the perpetrator of that narrative is. But I think a certain demographic has come across another certain demographic that really enjoys this movie and hasn't had good experiences with that demographic. And so they just associate that movie with that type of person. And it just, doesn't sit right with a lot of people, which is understandable. You know what I mean? Your feelings are valid. However, I think it is kind of crazy that a lot of people just write it off as like, oh, that's, like it's a really good movie.
To be like overrated, like people would say it's one of the best movies ever, and then now everybody thinks they're so interesting to be like Pulp Fiction isn't that good.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, it is.
It is.
That's a very
It is.
point.
It's like
It's a very great point.
4.5.
That movie's
Like,
fucking perfect.
It is. I gotta
like,
watch it
it's
again. I haven't watched it in a minute. I gotta watch that movie again soon.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm a dialogue guy, so like in Pulp Fiction, it's just like
There's a lot of great
so
dialogue.
many perfect scenes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're just talking at each other.
Yeah.
I like when that in the
Literally.
movies just people talking at each other, and it's really
One
clever.
of my favorite movies of people talking at each other was Marriage Story. I gotta watch that movie again too. I really enjoyed that movie, but I haven't watched it in like 4 years. And I want to watch it again because I feel like, there's certain, I know I just said I don't rewatch movies like that, but I think there's certain movies where like you watch it once and you're just experiencing it for the first time. But then that second watch is like when you're dialed into like all the stuff that you not only missed the first time around, but you might hear something differently. You might notice a change in tone that's a little bit, more nuanced than you kind of realized the first time because you were just so taken aback by what was said rather than how they said it. That's one of those movies that I definitely have to watch again. And it was kind of just 2 people talking at each other the whole time, pretty much.
Clever.
Let's start with the ones that it is obviously better than.
Okay.
Hateful Eight. Get fucked.
A lot of people really dislike that movie, and I enjoyed it, but I understand why people don't like that movie. I don't. I haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet. I want to watch it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wait a second though.
No.
Wait a second, though.
I wanted to end my little piece with I have become such a defender of that movie.
Really?
I am hardcore. Once
I haven't seen it
Upon a
yet.
Time in Hollywood.
I haven't. Of course, the only scene that I have seen from that movie, Tarantino, we need to get him in therapy. Margot Robbie in the movie theater by herself, and just the dirty feet. Like, why? That man needs help, bro.
I like
needs
that
help.
movie more than Kill Bill. I do.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass.
Sit down. We got it.
You asked for this
I've heard
debate.
enough.
You
I've
asked for this debate.
Heard enough.
Is it better than Reservoir Dogs?
Yes.
I think so too.
Is better than Jackie Brown.
That's a really close one because I love Jackie Brown. These are his 3 movies, where really 2 movies. Let's just say Kill Bill's 1.
Yeah.
Where you have a female lead. Those are his only 2 movies out of his whole filmography.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is awesome, and I love the character of Jackie Brown. Uma's aesthetic and everything is great, but Jackie Brown's character is like more fleshed out. I think I like Jackie Brown a sliver more. I think I like Pulp Fiction a sliver more, and then Kill Bill comes in.
Yeah, I think I like Pulp Fiction a tiny bit more than Kill Bill, but Kill Bill again because I saw it so young. I didn't see Pulp Fiction until I was like 10 or 11. Like it was a while for me because again I've been watching movies so long. Like I'd probably seen 200 movies in between watching Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction. So like that one's kind of higher for me just because I had seen it at an age where I think I understood more about movies at that point. When I watched Kill Bill, I just like watching movies. You know, that was kind of it. But like,
third,
you know,
Glorious Bastards.
not better than Kill Bill, but I love it.
It's just a different. It's a different.
Totally
kind of
different.
movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different. And I love those
Real.
characters. And I love Brad Pitt, the way he fucking talks in that.
Nazis.
I think Kill Bill comes in at 3. That's my final word on that.
Fair.
Thank you guys for having me. I love this segment that
man.
you guys do about movies. It's fucking
Thanks, man.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for popping the dogs out for this one, Eden. Quentin's gonna love that. Thanks for watching. Join the Patreon if you want to.
when he said that, I thought a dog was about to just like appear on screen. I got so happy and then realized what he meant.
what movie we're gonna watch next. We'll drop that a week early, so you
Yes,
can
join the
have fun with
Patreon.
us.
It's
Join
worth
our
it.
little
I be
movie
seeing
club.
all of these. It's just like most of the time, I just don't feel like watching the movies. But this one, I was like, I watched this already recently enough to where I can like do this. Because I said in the first one, because I had like, it was Step Brothers, and I just like didn't watch it recently enough to really contribute much. I was like, I'm not gonna watch this unless I watch the movies. But I just like don't always feel like watching like that movie. You know?
You can also become a member on the main channel, HIVEMIND, and you will also be able to see what movie we're watching for the next episode of How Did It Age. We also have a new newsletter. It's linked in the description. Subscribe to that to see what we're up to. There's a new issue of that coming out every Friday at noon Eastern Time.
It's powered by Beehive, and sometimes when I go to see a new movie, I'll write my own little movie review in there.
Nice.
Stuff. to
Alien
look at.
Romulus.
I haven't seen any
Thank
new
you,
movies
Eden
this year.
Burke, for joining us. You should follow Eden on Letterboxd and
Actually, no, I'm
Instagram.
lying. I saw Mean Girls the musical, and it wasn't good. But
That will be linked in
I
description.
love Renee
And
Rapp. I
thank
love the
you, Brayden,
cast.
for
Honestly, like none of my problems were with the cast or like anything like that. It just
joining us. You should check out his new web series. It follows what is it again?
It's a fly fisherman who's
Yeah.
blind and has 4 knuckles.
And it's haunted by a little Victorian girl.
No, that's just a myth. We're going to get to the bottom of it next week.
All right, this has been High Mind Unlimited. This has been How Did It Age? This has been Kill Bill. This has been Eden Burke and Graydon Weaver. Let's get out of here.
yes, sir. Hey, bro, banger movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna probably shut this out. This show again next time they got a movie that I've seen recently enough. Like I said, I'm trying to do some horror movies. I haven't, really done much of a lineup yet, but I'm trying to cook that up for next month. So hopefully we get enough movies in to where there's some overlap at some point soon. And I can watch it again. Because I really do like the show, but again, I just don't like, you know what I mean? Like watching like movies if I just like don't feel like it, And a lot of the time, like seeing the nodie is just like, oh man, that's cool. I don't want to watch it right now though. And then I don't. And then I haven't watched an episode of this show in months. But this is cool. They got to do one of these on like a really bad movie though. Because I feel like, the 2 that I've seen, Step Brothers and now this. Let me see what other ones they've done that I haven't watched. I know they did The Ring. They did Ted. They did Super. Oh, I gotta watch the Super Bad one and Project X. There's a couple of these that I do have to watch. But I do want to watch the movies again though and like really get in. Mean Girls 2004. I think we did watch Mean Girls this year because we were gonna watch. I was gonna go watch Mean Girls 2024 in theaters, but I chose not to because I figured I wouldn't enjoy it as much. So I was like, let me just wait for it to hit streaming and then watch it in Discord, which is what I ended up doing. But instead, we watched the OG Mean Girls because that's another one of my favorite movies ever. And I really, really enjoyed that movie again. I think there's a lot of it that's kind of dumb, but so I might watch that one again soon. I don't know. We'll see. They did Superbad, which is one of the last good comedy movies of the 2000s. Kind of the beginning of the end, if you will. We'll get to some of these. I'm not gonna lie to you, but yeah, that's the end of this video. I'm not gonna lie.